If you've been paying any attention to the news lately, you've probably seen the headlines. Gold. The price is just exploding, and it feels like everyone, from Wall Street pros to your neighbor, is talking about it. But this isn't just another market rally. Something feels really different this time. I mean, look at this. Gold has absolutely smashed its all-time high, hitting a stunning new record price of over $4,400 an ounce. To put that into perspective, the price has surged more than 70% just this year alone. A move that big, well, it definitely gets your attention. And this is where it gets super interesting, because according to, decades of economic wisdom, gold should not be doing this well right now. It's basically throwing the old rulebook out the window, leaving a ton of experts scratching their heads and creating a massive puzzle for investors everywhere. Okay, so let's dive into this puzzle. We're going to break down exactly why gold's recent behavior is so darn unusual and what it's telling us about the state of the entire world economy. So for the last 25 years or so, there's been one pretty reliable rule for gold. It's right here on the left. When real interest rates, that's basically the interest you earn on your money after you factor in inflation, when those rates go up, gold gets less attractive, right? Because it doesn't pay you any income. So gold's price goes down. Simple. Well, since 2022, that relationship has completely shattered. As this analysis from RBC Wealth Management shows, real interest rates have shot up, but the price of gold went right up there with them. The old rule is officially broken. So, if the old rules don't apply anymore, what's actually driving the price? Let's get into the powerful new forces that are rewriting the entire playbook for gold. And here's the crucial thing to understand. The story of gold isn't just a simple financial calculation anymore. It's become a story about geopolitics, about global power shifts, and a deep structural change in how entire countries think about their money and their security. And this slide right here shows one of the biggest new drivers. Central banks all around the world, especially in places like China and India, have gone on an absolutely unprecedented buying spree. Just look at this chart. Between 2022 and 2024, they more than doubled their average annual gold purchases. This isn't just casual buying. This is a strategic, long-term move. So why the sudden rush? Well, it boils down to a few key things. First, there's this growing de-dollarization strategy. Countries are actively trying to depend less on the US dollar. Second, what happened with Russia's frozen assets in 2022 was a massive wake-up call. It showed other nations just how vulnerable their dollar-based assets could be. And third, gold is seen as neutral. It doesn't belong to any one country, which makes it a uniquely safe asset in a world that feels like it's fracturing. And this quote from the CEO of Perseus Mining just nails the new mindset. For these huge global players, gold isn't just about hedging against inflation anymore. It's about buying insurance against the entire global financial system, which they see as more and more fragile and unpredictable. Now, this isn't just happening at the government level, because it's not just the central banks that are feeling nervous. That same feeling of fear and uncertainty is pushing everyday investors towards gold too. This is gold's classic role as a safe haven asset. Whenever the world feels chaotic, because of economic stress or war or political instability, investors just flock to things they believe will hold their value. And for literally thousands of years, gold has been the ultimate safe haven. Okay, so that's the big global picture. But what does all this drama, de-dollarization, central banks buying up gold, what does it actually mean for you right here in the US? Let's connect those dots. The simplest way to think about it is this. The rising price of gold is like a barometer for economic anxiety. It isn't the cause of the storm, but it's a very, very clear signal that a lot of people think a storm might be on the way. So what specific anxieties is this barometer picking up on here in America? Well, it's reflecting worries about that stubborn inflation that makes our dollars feel a little lighter at the grocery store. It's signaling recession fears, concerns about jobs and the stock market going haywire. It shows a real search for stability and something tangible in a world that feels more complex by the day. And for a lot of us, it's raising questions about our 401ks and IRAs and whether they're really diversified enough for what's coming. So this all leads to the big question on everyone's mind. With prices at an all-time high, is now the time to actually buy gold? All right, quick disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and this is definitely not financial advice. But let's look at the classic arguments. The pros are pretty clear. Gold is a traditional hedge, it's a safe haven, and it's a great way to diversify a portfolio that's heavy on stocks and bonds. But the cons are just as real. Gold doesn't pay you any interest or dividends. It literally just sits there. Its price can be super volatile, and if you own physical gold, well, you have to worry about storing it and insuring it. And if you are thinking about it, you've got a few main ways to get in on it. You can buy physical gold like bars and coins, which is cool because you can hold it, but you have to store it safely. You can also invest in gold ETFs, which trade just like stocks and are super flexible. Or you can buy shares in the companies that actually mine the gold, which can be a more high-octane way to play the price. Each one has its own set of risks and benefits. So before making any kind of decision, it's really critical to just stop and think through these steps. How much risk are you actually comfortable with? What are your financial goals? And remember, putting all your eggs in one basket is almost never a good idea. And most importantly, talk to a qualified professional who can give you advice that's actually tailored to your life. So after looking at all this, what's the one single most important thing to understand about what's happening with gold right now? Here it is. The final takeaway is that gold's historic run is way more than just numbers on a screen. It's a flashing signal that the fundamental rules of the global economy are changing. You have the rise of new powers, the questioning of the dollar's long-held dominance, and widespread economic anxiety. All of it has combined to push gold into a totally new era. What happens next with its price? Who knows? But the reasons behind the surge tell us a profound story about the world we're living in today. So that brings us to you. Now that you've seen the new rules of the game for gold, what's your take? Are you thinking about buying, holding what you've got, or just staying on the sidelines completely? I would love to hear what you think down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.